Voila!
Happy Black History Month!
I don't even know if we're in the same shot or anything.
Yes.
No, this one needs to go over that way.
Okay, let's spin it. Spin it, like towards me. Oh, okay, you got it. I think that's
okay.
good.
I just had to move it over a little bit. Verklempt. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Time Warp Live. No more Time Warp Tuesday.
Oh, why?
We are changing our name to Time Warp Live. I meant to tell you that earlier.
Oh,
and I totally forgot.
That's why my face looks so
News to her too. Isn't that the craziest thing in the whole wide world?
This looks so cute. I love this little display that you done did.
That I done did. So, we are going to be, yes. Ooh, that takes me off screen.
I should
camera.
probably pull.
I think you need to come down just a tick.
You know, I'm going to pull this a little bit closer. And I also need to pull up Facebook so we can see comments.
Yes,
I didn't
please.
do that either.
Okay, so, welcome everybody. And yes, this is news to Jasmine. I meant to tell her earlier and I forgot. Time Warp Tuesday has now become Time Warp Live, TWL.
You're going to have to tell me why later.
Well, I can tell you why now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that way everybody knows. Time Warp Live, Time Warp Tuesdays makes you think, and we do have our show on Tuesdays, so, you know, it can still be, in theory, Time Warp Tuesday. But Time Warp Live, because we have so much going on now. Ooh, I don't think they can see me. We have so much going on now with the, oh no. I'm losing you guys.
Oh, it just slipped off the side.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
It's okay, the bottom right. There you go.
Thank God for a 24-year-old. Pretty soon I'm going to have to say 25.
Oh my God, that sounds horrendous.
Anyways, so Time Warp Tuesday makes it think that you only are filming on Tuesday. And we do our show on Tuesday.
Yep.
But because we have expanded dramatically and we are doing shows out and about and on different days, Time Warp Live made more sense to me.
Which I also like that. It makes sense.
And we can abbreviate it. And it still almost sounds like TRL. Totally Request Live.
LOL.
TWL, Time Warp Live. And that way when we're like on location, it still adds in.
Of course. And I see what you mean with that. That makes a lot more sense than TWT.
So, Time Warp Live. So, anyway, so we're going to be talking about Black Americana and Black History Month and all the great people who contributed to our society.
Heck yeah.
But before we start, I want to tell you guys a story that happened to me. Do you mind?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, so the other day, and it's both funny, sad, and kind of sweet all at the same time, wouldn't you say?
I would agree.
Yeah. So I lost my wallet. And if any of you know me, my phone and my wallet are like losing my hand or my arm or my leg or something to that effect. So I looked everywhere here. I couldn't find it. Steve and I looked everywhere at home. We couldn't find it. And on Saturday, I actually drove back up here and I searched again, and I was beside myself. And what's funny is it wasn't the credit cards because those can be stopped.
Right.
It was my driver's license I was afraid of because it's too hard to get a new one.
Without one.
Without one. So on the way home Saturday, all bummed out and coming to the realization that I'm going to have to cancel all my credit cards and do all of this, I thought, you know what? I got gas on on Friday. So I'm just out of the blue going to go in and I'm going to see if maybe I dropped it. You know? Lo and behold, they had it. 24 hours later, and I'm going to tell you, there are still good people in this world because I was stunned that it was still there. But I wasn't, in a way, because I do have trust in people somewhat.
Sure.
And if I picked up a wallet, I would turn it in.
Absolutely.
You know, and everything was in it, so I never lost anything. So thank you, if you guys, you know, to whoever picked up a black wallet at the Kroger gas station right on Little Mac and 13.
Oh, I know. Okay, I know.
Yeah, so thank you if you're watching. Isn't that awesome? I know. And I love the fact, and I had to tell the story because of the fact that we still want good people. We still want to understand that there's good people in this world.
Sorry, I was sending it out.
Sending what out?
The live video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's not growing as quickly as I thought it would. But anyways, but I wanted to say that because there are good people in this world still.
Which thankfully there is.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing, you know?
So, Black History Month.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about Black History Month.
Jason pulled out a lot of really cool things, like a lot of things that I didn't even know that we had. Like, she's cute.
Can you see? Nope, I'm in your way. And Facebook can't see you at all. So I'm going to lower Facebook a little bit. Sorry, Facebook.
It looks like me. When I come in, I have to buy her because this is literally me. I'm going to bring her closer.
So I think you don't come too close because you're going to... you want to be able to see what's on here. Oh, you're going to bring those.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this one up because she's small.
Yeah.
So this is literally me. I've never seen her in the store before, but Jason just pulled her out, and I'm honestly just, like, obsessed.
So this is Black Americana. This is history.
Like, she's so cute. And I don't know, maybe if it's her makeshift afro that's really doing it for me, or maybe it's, like, her smug look that she has on her face.
Look what she's made out of. Household materials.
Yeah, like a, maybe like a tablecloth. I don't know, her legs are cute. This is cute.
Isn't that cute? I know.
I love her.
And it's not terribly expensive.
No.
So these, and some of these are souvenir pieces because they'll say right on them, this one says New Orleans, and then I think this one says
I think those are bells,
Georgia.
Huh?
Yeah, they are bells. And we're going to talk more about this stuff as we get into Black Americana.
And I'm assuming these are probably dinner bells.
Oh, probably.
Like that.
And they're souvenirs. So those I would say were factory made, maybe, or made by a company because of the fact that they have
the stamp on them.
And but Steve's on here and he'll correct me if necessary. But it's really cool. They're really cool. I love these because they look homemade, and they could have been homemade back wherever.
Oh yeah,
New
for
Orleans
sure.
And
maybe it was grandma's housewarming
Georgia.
gift to you, or maybe it was your housewarming gift to somebody
Yeah,
else.
because if you look, they look homemade. They tied it around the standard bell.
With some yarn.
And so what happened is they probably made this locally, and then somebody went and stamped the souvenir pieces on it.
Which I could see.
On the front of it. Or they used something that was souvenir driven. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. And they speak to a time in history.
They do, and I love how different their faces are too. And like, even you notice that like this matches her dress, this matches her dress, like the little miniature details in them.
And you know what? These are probably little dolls, not necessarily the bells, but like as we get into the dolls,
ornate ones, yeah.
These are probably the only doll a little girl had back then.
Yes.
So this one is interesting because, and we're going to talk more about this. She's holding her little baby doll. Isn't that cute?
I think it's so cute.
Isn't that cute? She's holding a little baby doll. I love it. I love it. But she is made out of actually a toilet paper roll. See?
Wow, and paint. Acrylic paint.
Acrylic paint and a toilet, well, maybe not toilet paper, but...
Like a spool.
A spool, but it's made spool. So maybe a paper towel.
Sure.
That's cut. So this is something that they would make at home, right? And the little girl would have to play with.
And her earrings.
And it represented her.
It does.
And that's the part.
Yeah, of course. And
this is also New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Honestly, I love that little sticker.
Also says New Orleans. Now, a lot of people come to me because I'm one of the owners here, and they say, why would you carry this stuff?
Because why not?
Because it's history.
Exactly.
And some little girl loved this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely loved it. And why would you take that away?
It for sure can be abrasive to some if you've never seen anything quite like it before. But TV shows, movies, cartoons all had representations of this stigma that they had, which is like you'll notice that anything that has to do with toys or cartoons or any type of drawing, they're always actually black with red mouth and a red nose, which I feel like is so silly, but you can really tell its true time period then.
Oh yeah,
when it has like those.
And we're gonna hold it closer so you can see. I mean, look at this. This is the eyes, the nose, the mouth. It's all felt material.
And her earrings are just wire.
And it's highly possible that mom and daughter made these together.
Oh, for sure.
Because we're gonna show you a few of these, and then we're gonna talk about the history on them. But like we saw the bell and stuff. So.
What are those called again?
Here, take that one. That baby doll. Isn't that baby doll cute?
Oh, here's her bottom.
So this might be the only doll this little girl had.
And she's on a wooden base.
Oh, she sure is. So she doesn't even have a full body under there.
Nope. So she just sits like this. Like, this is how she's supposed to chill.
So she's a tabletop.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love the earrings. It's very different.
The buttons.
The buttons for the eyes, yeah. I also love how they all have this, like, plaid.
The plaid outfits and stuff. I love how her outfit is cut awfully deep. But if you look at the mouth is just a standard felt. Because they had to use what they had at home, right, to make these.
And that could honestly be hand-me-down clothing. That could be rags or cloth that they have gotten.
The bottom. But these are really cool. And it's so awesome in my mind that you have especially little kids, have dolls and toys that represent them.
100%. That's where American Doll really comes into play. Steve says some companies sold them by the dozen, then tourist destinations would stamp them out. That would make so much more sense.
Thank you, Steve. So, say that again.
Some companies would sell them by the dozens to tourist destinations, and then they would stamp them.
And then they would stamp them?
Yeah.
And and then they would sell them.
Exactly. Because, like, for example, you weren't really sure.
God, I hope the ones from New Orleans aren't voodoo dolls.
Honestly, that'd be amazing.
It would be amazing, but my luck, it would probably be one of me.
Same. Same.
But I just think and we're going to get more into why collecting of Black Americana is important.
100%.
Why? Because it's very important, and why it's okay when you walk into stores like this to see Black Americana.
And then we're also going to touch base on the opposite side of Black Americana, which is going to be mostly just like Black appreciation artwork, which is going to be like vases, and I'm being very vague. Blackamoor, yes, thank you. And we're really going to touch base on that. I never knew that was its legitimate name up until Jason told me earlier today, which I loved. Not all Black Americana or Black artwork is represented in the same way. It doesn't look the same, which is why I'm really excited to talk about the differences between like the homemade dolls and then the actual like mass-produced types of memorabilia.
And then we're also going to touch base on, this is on the good side of Black Americana and the bad side of Black Americana.
Right.
Because history in all races goes two ways.
100%.
And so, it's important to understand that if we erase or not talk about the things that happened in our past, we're destined to relive them.
100%.
It's not something new. It is something that is an uncomfortable topic on any aspect, but is necessary in order to understand the true history.
Do you have your book out?
I did.
Oh, guys, where are Jason's notes at today?
They could be anywhere and everywhere. They're over here, I think. Yes, they're right here.
Oh, okay, great. I'm knocking things over.
Okay, so was there something on here you saw?
There is, and I wanted to talk about it while we still had this out. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So, though Aunt Jemima is mostly famously associated with the Quaker Oats pancake mix,
which I'm telling you, I'm kicking myself because I do have the cookie jar at home, and I should have brought it.
Oh, yes, that's what you did say. I forgot. Her character was originally based from the minstrel song 1875, Old Aunt Jemima. In her apron and polka-dotted handkerchief, Aunt Jemima became the familiar face of the mammy stereotype, a motherly and overweight black woman who is visibly happy in her subservient position. The mammy caricature is one of the most enduring black stereotypes and was often used as proof that servitude was a manually beneficial arrangement. Mammy caricatures appeared on a wide variety of household objects, especially kitchen-related items such as cookie jars, dish towels, pitchers, string holders, salt and pepper shakers, tea tins, and detergent boxes. And I was going to say, Aunt Jemima, not just on the syrup bottle or represented by Quaker Oats, that is such a vast term because...
Aunt Jemima?
Yes. Yeah. Because you have napkin holders that probably weren't even based around the pancake Aunt Jemima, but yet you have caricatures that look just like her. So that was probably used as a broad term. I mean, that probably really was someone's Aunt Jemima, like for real. And then that just...
And when they removed her from the box, the family was not happy.
Oh, I bet they weren't, because that was probably a ludicrous feeling to have. But, like, look at that. Doesn't that literally just look like Aunt Jemima just if I didn't tell you that, you probably would have assumed just like I did.
So if a lot of you remember back to Gone with the Wind, she won an Oscar. I forgot her name. We talked about her last year during Black Americana.
Did we?
Yeah, she won an Oscar. Anyway, she looks very similar to the look of Aunt Jemima. They made her look like that.
Sure.
But I think a lot of the characteristics of what we see today that was made after were based off her.
Okay, that would make sense. Sorry, as I'm always knocking things over.
No. So we did our research on this, and we tried to be as
accurate
and sensitive as possible.
Absolutely.
Because it is it can be a hot topic, discussion.
Of course.
But when you're talking about it purely from a historical point of view, and not a personal or political point of view, history is important to maintain. And I get a lot of people who come in and who are an ideal, and not surprisingly, it's usually more the older white community that thinks that there's a problem with us carrying Black Americana, which I think is hilarious.
It is very silly.
Especially when I tell them you're the only one.
And then it's also very refreshing when I do see not even just like people who aren't of color, but just anybody genuinely that comes in and purchases any of our Black Americana stuff, because you're not just going to purchase this to ruin it or to get rid of it. Obviously, these are valuable items that people are going to go home and cherish and put somewhere that is going to keep them safe. So I personally just think that in itself is a great feeling to have.
I do too. I think I wanted to ask you, since I've known you now for a couple of years, well, more than that, but you've worked here for over a year, almost 2. And I know that when we do the Black History Month, you learn something new about your heritage
100% every time.
So, and now you like Black Americana because you pick it up and you take it home.
Yeah, I do.
And so why would you buy it?
So I personally think Black Americana is a great, and I know it sounds very silly, but it is a great representation of how strong stereotypes are and can truly be, and how outrageous they are, because stereotypical Black people are supposed to be super dark skin, again with red lips and big red noses and short hair. I think that that's very funny to me, and I only say that because
it's ludicrous.
It is, and I'm just gonna say it as like a very large term across like a blanket. Like, people of color, and all people, not even just people of color, everybody looks so different. So for that one stereotype to be as strong,
blanket across the entire community of people.
They think all older Black ladies look like Aunt Jemima. I wish I had an Aunt Jemima that looked like this, honestly. I feel like it'd be so much cooler.
Are you kidding? Especially when they can make things.
I know, exactly.
Some of the largest collectors of Black Americana, and I'm not talking about just positive Black Americana, I'm talking about non-positive ones too, like images of blackface and
segregation signs,
stuff like that, are some of our biggest stars that are African American.
100%.
And they tend to love it because if you look at some of the stars, and I don't want to name stars, and if you Google it, you'll see. But there's some major stars. I'm talking billionaire stars that have, the signs, the segregation, discrimination signs hanging in their house because they want to look at it every day and be reminded
that we got through that.
That you got through that. The struggle it was.
100%.
And how not to relive it.
And how much of a powerful time it is for both parties to be able to be alive during a time where that's not existed anymore.
Exactly.
And I say that for both parties, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's it's a monumental movement in so many different angles and aspects that, like, I'm proud, as us as a whole, of us getting over that.
I am too, and I am not afraid, and those of you who know me, because I had a lot of pushback for this show, remember? We had a lot of pushback for this show. Oh, I wouldn't talk about Black Americana on TV or on live streaming because you're going to get a lot of hate mail, you're going to get a lot of this.
But why? I'm Black!
And not only that, even the thing is, it's part of our history.
100%.
When we talk about the Holocaust, when we talk about different aspects of our history that I may not fall into that realm, I'm still going to talk about it because it is still a part of our history.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And those who know me know that I want people to see this.
Yes, as they should. They should want to. It's very cool stuff.
It is.
And I don't know if anybody really sticks in with like the recent changes that are happening at the DIA, but for the last couple of years, David has taken me to the DIA for their segment that moves. I don't know the specific term for that, but it's the segment of art that moves, to different museums. And
traveling.
Yes, traveling, thank you. And for the last 3 years, they have always had a Black History Month at the DIA, and it is always free if you are a Metro Detroit resident.
And I'm going to tell you, there's a gorgeous display going on at the African American Museum right now of different outfits and stuff.
I wonder who it's by.
I cannot remember, but I saw it. One of our friends online went and saw it. Sharon, if you're watching, you posted pictures of it. Oh my God.
And
gorgeous.
I am very curious now because last year I went and seen a very beautiful traveling segment, which was mostly about outfits and the different types of dashikis there were and what those patterns mean and what different colors those mean as well. And then they also just had a small segment on how the afro was a very largely used hairstyle amongst people of color, and how different everybody looks with the same style afro.
With the same style.
And I loved it. It was such a very cool piece to see for cool. Sure.
So Black Americana, one of its heyday of being made and sold was 1900s to the 1950s.
Okay.
When we were at our when we were struggling with racism. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to say struggling because that makes it sound sad or sound not as bad. When we had bad racism in the world, we were coming out of the late 1800s and stuff like that. So a lot of the Black Americana that was made between 1900s and 1950s, how am I going to say this? They punctuated the stereotypes.
Sure.
Meaning that they exaggerated, similar to like this.
Can I bring this up?
Yes. Where they exaggerate parts of it. And this is a smoker. You put a cigarette in the base of it, and then the smoke comes out of the mouth. But the exaggeration of the mouth is stereotypical of that time period.
You just made me think of something. I'm going to go grab it. Keep talking.
So, it's craziness that way. And I lost my paperwork.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Hey, Mark, how are you? We got Mark Kelly. We got Wolfman Mark Kelly watching. Cool. Who else is on here? Todd, Lisa. Okay, so Lisa Garrett, my dad had a doll. Her name was, I don't think that's right. What is it? Piola, because I think it misspelled you up there. And she was an African American doll. Oh, that's cool. Do you still have it, Lisa? Was it passed down? That'd be cool.
Jason, is this our mic right here? Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. I hope. Can you guys hear us?
I think so.
I would think that they would tell us.
Earlier, while I was cleaning, I found this.
Oh.
And he came with this, though, and I wanted to read it.
He's got an adult face.
He does have an adult face, and I'm going to bring him up a little closer while Jason keeps talking.
Hey, Mars. How's it going?
Look at him. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. And
Mars and Lana Lenore are watching.
It looks like a little baby Gilbert Gottfried. Okay.
So hopefully you guys can all hear us pretty good.
Hopefully, which I'm assuming you guys can.
So, so what do you have on some history outside of Black Americana?
Oh, okay, sick. Yes. Okay, so here's something really, really cool, especially even, I would mostly say like for the women this is really cool, but even if you're not, this still benefits you in some way. We're going to talk about Miss Henrietta Lacks, and the reason why she is super important and why a lot of schools don't talk about her is because unfortunately what she had to deal with was extremely unfortunate, but in the fortunate aspect, what had happened to her caused groundbreaking news to be flooded and researched and talked about for years and years and years and decades to come. So her contributions to the science field and medicine should be taught in every single Biology USA class, and the only reason why that matters is because in 1951 she was in a Johns Hopkins hospital and some of the cells were taken from her, unfortunately without her knowledge, during a C-section.
Stem cells, right?
Yep, some stem cells, and they were used for further medical research. And why is that an issue? Well, because it was taken without her knowledge while she was giving birth. But the good part is what developed from her contributions was the first cellulene able to be continued to reproduce indefinitely. So her type of cells that she had were able to just keep reproducing and reproducing and reproducing, no matter if it was sick or had a dysfunction, or maybe it was half of a cell. That cell could rejuvenate and rejuvenate, which is used against so many other medical procedures still to this day right now. She unfortunately passed away 2 years after her biopsy, and her family wasn't even aware of the breakthrough that she had caused until decades and decades later.
So they are aware now. Was any type of
compensation
given?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, so during the pandemic, a lot of African Americans, a lot of people of color, they were afraid to take any of the medications because of this, exactly because of this type of thing. Taking samples and doing things like that without any type of
repercussion for the person
even asking them.
Yeah, without even like asking or knowledge of what's going to happen to me or my cells.
Now, the fact that it advanced our medical technology, that's all great and stuff, but it probably would have done the same if you would have asked her and compensated her.
150,000%,
you know what I mean?
Jason. It's easier to just steal it than it is to ask and be told no and argue about it.
But, you know, by giving her that that sense of, wow, I have life-saving material inside of me that could go a long way. Just think about, I mean, the happiness that would bring her, knowing.
And how much, and what if she was, you know, possibly able to even extend herself into aspects of like, okay, well, maybe my stem cells can help. Okay, well, maybe if you like test my blood, like, will that interfere with anything? Does that interfere with anything? Like, I feel like, you know, like
she could work with them.
Exactly, work with them and, you know, expand the medical field for sure.
It's silliness. All of it is when it comes to stuff like that.
I wish we did still have it. It unfortunately sold. It was one of those things where I kind of let sit too long, and then when I actually went to buy it, it was gone. But this is really, really cool, especially if you guys have children. But it's really cool because we were all kids once. The Black Panthers free breakfast that happens in all USA schools right now to this day. They were all initiative and inspired by the USDA's free breakfast program. And in 1969, party members started prepping meals for hundreds of school children free of charge, no matter what color you are, what age you were, and what school you went to. Shortly after, it was adopted by party chapters nationwide and feeding thousands of children in 45 different programs across the United States. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, initiated raids to break up the program, destroying foods and harassing party members all in front of these children while eating their breakfast. But it was really good while we still had it. And it also enforced free breakfast amongst all USA schools right now, which is extremely important because I can't remember the statistic correctly. I know it's between 27 and 33% of all children who go to school don't have food when they leave school. So when they go to school, that free breakfast, lunch, and snack that they have throughout the day, that's like it for some of these kids.
Yeah, that's... So you were making a comment about the outfits they wear.
Yes.
Now, this little passage here, and we did our research on this so that we knew. Much of the racist imagery perpetuated the association between African Americans and household servitude.
Okay.
So, like the smiling cook used in Cream of Wheats, others aim to get a laugh with depictions of simple-minded oafs obsessing over different types of foods and alligators and stuff like that. But by putting them in plaid, by using advertising punchlines that tend to be racist, so that's why you see these dolls like with the bell calling for her. That's why you see the
So I was
outfits.
partially right.
You were absolutely the outfits using the paper towel roll. So that's why that happens. So when we look at these things, we got to understand the whole totality.
Like,
of it.
take it legitimately.
They're cute. They're cute, and they probably loved them, but they were still made based on
derogatory term.
Derogatory term because they had this up here. They had the tie because they were out working and sweating.
Hey man, bonnets are great, okay?
You know?
Bonnets are
But they would wear it.
lifesavers. Yes.
Yeah, because of the fact that they were always working.
For sure, for
You
sure.
know? So that is why they depict in plaid. That's why they depict holding a bowl and doing a whisk. That's why they're done with in different salt and pepper shakers.
What are these were called? She came in and called them something.
Oh gosh, I probably should know that.
These.
Well, this is Aunt Jemima. It says right underneath.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
These always just crack me up. Look at them.
So they come in ceramic. They come in everything. But
And this is also Aunt Jemima, I think.
yeah, I think it's funny because I wonder how many people aren't watching because they feel
Do you guys feel what's the word?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because of what we're talking about. So knowing, I mean, we go to different museums, we go to different areas and to see different histories. And one of the things you can go to is at Ferris State here in the state of Michigan is the Jim Crow Museum. So you can easily go up to Big Rapids to Ferris State and go to a museum that has a lot of this, and you can see the different aspects of life during back then.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So some of the other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, I just missed it. Where'd it go? Were
I put a star next to the one underneath it about Aunt Jemima. I think it's on the this one right here.
in the face of such negative portrayal. That's what I just read.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's not. They started two different ways. This one's talking about Malcolm X and stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you. This is what I was going to read next, because in the face of the fact that a lot of Black Americana was representing the slavery, the work, the stuff like that, the bad racist imagery that the African American, the Black society started making their own. Making them more, not so much using the plaid, making them tasteful, making them, more jolly, more fun.
Which is this, right?
Blackamoor tends to be a little bit more like that, but Blackamoor is actually older than Black Americana.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Blackamoor goes back to the 1700s, not these. These are more modern Blackamoor.
Like, I'm obsessed.
But look how beautiful her face is.
Yeah, I know. David, I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm obsessed with these. They're so pretty. And you can hang it on the wall, or you can leave it on the table. I think they're so pretty. But you said something to me earlier about Blackamoor that I really liked.
What's that? Blackamoor is pretty much a nondescript black person.
Thank you.
So, in other words, it could be Middle Eastern, it could be island, it could be African, it could be American.
Haitian.
It could be Haitian. It could be anything, but it's black.
I'm obsessed. I think it's very pretty, very tasteful. I love the jewelry that they put on.
And it's Royal Coppola. Did you show that?
Oh, yeah, I did, but I'd probably get closer.
Mm-hmm. Her face is gorgeous.
Yes, it is. Oh, hi, Steve. He's saying hi to everybody. So I know you guys know Betty Boop. But
yes.
Do you remember last year when we talked about why Betty Boop?
Did you grab anything?
I know, Kate. Aren't they pretty? I love them. I'm obsessed. I didn't grab anything Betty Boop. Sorry, I'm giving everybody a wave that just popped on.
I can go grab. Well, but it's not going to represent the real Betty Boop.
So I'm actually going to talk about who Betty Boop is based off of right now, and her name is Miss Josephine Baker. And Miss Josephine Baker was the pioneer flapper in the 1920s, and she unfortunately passed away at the age of 68, and her first name is Frida, but when she became a little bit more popular, she done changed her name to just Josephine Baker. She was the first African-American woman to ever star in a motion film, and that doesn't include commercials. This includes an actual movie with speaking and dancing.
She was also nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, was she really? Okay, and period. In her late career, she moved to France and aligned herself with civil rights movements, and she refused to perform at any type of venue that had any type of segregation.
Watch the Josephine Baker movie. It's fantastic.
I didn't even know they had one. I'll for sure be watching that. But Josephine Baker, she was a beautiful, young woman of color who always wore fingertip waves, which is how Betty Boop got her hairstyle inspired. And I won't talk too much about it, but the reason why Betty Boop is now portrayed as white rather than black is because they already thought that black women or women of color were already very loud and voluptuous and promiscuous, and no one's going to want to watch that on TV. But if they alter her skin color a little bit, it might be considered a little bit more tasteful.
And the song Boop Boop De Doot was written and performed by a black woman.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
And she ironically also looked just like Betty Boop. Mm-hmm. But what's really cool is I don't know if you knew this, is that the Broadway for Betty Boop's anniversary this year, the girl who's playing her name's Jasmine, which I thought was funny, but she's black. And
good, because she is.
And I thought that was very tasteful, very cute, and she is doing amazing. I'm watching the snippets, obviously, because I can't go to Broadway, but she looks like she's doing a good job, so I'm proud of her for that.
Hopefully she travels with it.
Heck yeah. So Mandinka.
This is exactly what you were talking about with the stereotype.
Yes.
With the, you want to show them?
With the short hair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah. With the short hair, the big mouth, the stuff like that. So when you walk into stores, don't get disgusted when you see this. Understand that this is like when you walk in and you see something that is a bad part of history.
Yes.
And look at it, understand it, and know that this can never happen again.
You guys, I'm fitting into the stereotype. Look at his ears and look at my ears.
And you want to know what's funny? I know, look at his ears, and that's common in South Africa for the big ears, and we all do that.
And we all stretch our lobes, and I just looked and I was like,
I know people
LOL.
whose lobes are way down to here.
Yes, me too.
Pretty soon we'll start putting the necklaces on.
Should we do this or Mandinka?
We can do this, but we're going to do it from back here.
Okay.
I don't want to put it too close up.
Did we pull Mandinka up front?
It's up here.
Do you think it's more appropriate if I hold this?
No, I don't care. You're going to show it.
No, I'm just teasing.
Do those.
Oh, yeah, these are sick.
And what did you bring these down for?
Oh, because that was going to be part of the American art, but we didn't.
Oh, very good. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you love how we just talk to each other?
Well, we got to make sure. What's up, Emily? So at first I was very confused by these, and I was just like, wow, this person's angry. They're PO'd.
We're actually doing better on Instagram tonight than we are on Facebook.
Really? Facebook's more poppin' on your phone than I see here. But Jason told me that this is a man, and that makes 100%.
Well, if you look closely, it is. He looks angry, but flat, not.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up. That's how clueless I am to these types of things. I'm just like,
but look at their faces. Their faces are depicting stereotypes. They're angry. And it's ridiculous because, I mean, they're beautiful pieces of work.
David sees this face all the time.
You're so funny. See, look, here is, now, what do you think that is?
To clean shoes? Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense.
So this would be a...
Dry brush?
Dry brush. We had a thimble, too, that was cute, but it's old. Dry brush.
He heard my joke.
Yeah, he did. And then you have bad parts. Actually, I don't even know what that is. That's kind of freaky.
Somebody's moving something.
Yeah. Is stuff like this, which is blackface.
Trigger warning for people who get triggered easily.
Yes. That's why I'm not holding it up close. So, this is 100% blackface. It is still part of our history and horrifying. Are you covering it?
No. Oh, my head is covering it on Facebook.
So, anyways, stuff like this. Again, every single person in this photo is white with blackface, and we need to learn that this is not right.
We see, like, I'm giggling because I think things like that are so obscure, and I just can't believe that someone was like, we're gonna get 40 of our friends to sit in a room and do this together.
And you know what's sad? Is the fact that everybody did
it. No, yeah. Mm-hmm. I also think it's very silly.
Yes, it's a cabinet card.
What's that, guys?
This is a cabinet card. It's hard. It was taken.
Oh.
I know. Bill, you'll probably be in tomorrow because you collect cabinet cards. But it is a cabinet card, meaning that it was taken prior to standard photography. So this one is probably from the 1900s.
Wow, okay.
The early 1900s.
You know, I can say, though, their paint application is very, very decent.
What are you laughing at?
That they're painted it's not like blotchy,
No, it's not. It's not decent. Look at They didn't even know how to put it on. Looks like he shoved his face in mud. Look at that.
It looks like she has a mask on.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Actually, this photo is kind of frightening.
It is very scary the longer you look at it.
It is, because you start looking at different faces and you wonder what the hell's going on.
No, for sure.
Outside of the fact that it's blackface. But, so anyways, when you walk into a store, understand that in a vintage and antique store, we talk about everything historical.
100%.
Everything. You go to a museum, you see this. You go to any type of history forum, you see these.
Yes.
You walk into a vintage and antique store, expect to see these. Expect to see... He's laughing because I said you'll be in tomorrow for that.
He's like, just because you said I will be. See you tomorrow.
What was I thinking? He made me lose my track of thinking. Oh, so when you walk in, don't get upset over it. Understand this is part of history, and people collect it, people embrace it because of the fact that they don't want it to be redone.
And this is a perfect representation of what Jason means. And you're probably looking at me like, why are you showing us this Gilbert Gottfried baby again?
I know, he's got a crazy face.
He came with this, though, and as you're speaking, it's matching up, like, perfectly. It says, the Menehune are Hawaiians' mythical little people. Legends of their exploits will help fill our island of beauty and romance with that whimsical atmosphere that makes it a true paradise. Mm-hmm. Each task undertaken by these industrious folks, wondrous ponds, roads, or temples, had to be completed by sundown and sunup, and they never return a second night, least until they're discovered. No evil can be associated with the fun-loving rascals who origin and perpetuated to be a misty floating called... And that is a very long Hawaiian word that I cannot pronounce. Anyway, this is a great representation on something that can look derogatory, that can have a very positive impact without you even knowing it.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Kaluayani.
Kaluahani.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kaluayani. Hawaii has very few vowels. Or, I mean, very few non-vowel words, letters. It's Keuai Lani. Like Ikapono.
Okay, yes.
I lived in Hawaii for a little bit. But, so it's Keulani.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And his name is Coco Joe. And essentially you're supposed to put him in your house for good luck, prosperity, and if you want to get things done.
And it's funny because we talk about Hawaii and...
Type close and then read that long comment.
Where at?
On the bottom. Just came up.
In the late 1800s to the 1940s, it was acceptable to make things in the appearance of black Americans, American stereotypes, like I was going to read all of that, but like watermelon. As the century progressed, the 1940s through the 70s, manufacturers switched to making the negative stereotypes more African, Islander, and blackamoor.
Wow.
Meaning all of them.
You know, it's funny, I don't even like watermelon.
I do.
Look, I think it's all right. It's not my favorite.
Your dying too.
That's all right. It'll still be alive until the show ends.
So it's it's funny because I see those when they're eating watermelon and stuff, and I think I would be sitting right next to them eating that damn watermelon. I would, because I mean, it's ridiculous. So, speaking of Hawaii, because not all people of color are black. And these stereotypes don't just hit the African American community.
Right.
They hit Oriental, they hit Japanese, Chinese, different stuff like that, or different societies like that, as well as Hawaiian, as well as Latino, Mexican, everybody. So, apparently in the late 1800s through the through the 1950s, nobody was away from there.
Right.
I
guess everyone was just really trying to figure it out.
Right. But I love this.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Like, I bet it was very confusing for someone to create Black Americana and trying to make somebody mad, but then, the black people are like, well, we love it.
Well, there should be a representation of who you are.
No, for sure, I agree.
In other words, you have a little girl who, whether she's black, whether she's Chinese, whether she's white, whether who cares what color, she should be able to play with a doll or with something that represents her and
100%.
her culture.
Agreed.
And to make her feel good. And maybe you buy one of each.
Right. And again, that's why American Doll was such a thing ahead of its time, and I really wish that they were still relevant.
Actually,
now.
It might be better if you buy the opposite for
Opposite,
each.
100%.
Because growing up understanding the cultures might make us a less hostile against different races than we are today.
And it becomes one of those things where a lot of parents are scared to expose their children to certain things when if you expose them, they're going to be more brave and more susceptible to want to do and try new things rather than just sticking to the old mundane routine of life and playing with the same old toys because their mom said they had to.
So you know what a jockey is, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've had a few here.
Uh-huh.
And their jockeys were done for different things.
And they've always caused an issue.
But they would be put out, like you'd see the ones holding the lanterns. Those usually sat at the end of the road so that you could identify where the driveway is.
Yep.
Then you have ones that look like they're holding like a rein or something. You tie your horses to those.
Of course.
And then you have the decorative ones that sit, wherever. But apparently, according to facts, it was said that George Washington was the very first one who commissioned to have one made.
Wow, really?
For his yard. I don't know how true that is.
With his wooden teeth.
Because I thought they went back further. But according to this, they're saying that the likes of Duke Ellington had them. Muhammad Ali was a big collector.
Of course, yeah.
Actually, it says it right in here. So Jackie Robinson. So you've got Madam J. Walker.
No way.
Yeah. So a lot of these people, they collected them and they had jockeys in their yard.
Wow.
So, yeah. Because I had a woman trip over herself when she walked in and saw it.
I remember she flipped out over it.
Yeah, and it was funny because she was not allowed.
And we were trying to explain to her that these are like normal things that a lot of people have all over the place.
I mean, you were telling her not just to relax.
Yeah, literally. I was like, ma'am, it's all right. It's cool.
So anyways, that's Black Americana. Now we had some art that we're talking about.
Yes.
So, and I know that a few of the photos, or a few of the art pictures and the posters that we were going to use sold.
Unfortunately.
And
but
it seems to always happen.
Because I brought up this 3-piece set, and these are not common, but very common in the African community to make hand-woven baskets for fruit, grains, rice, vegetables. But I pulled this one out only because if you see the outside, it's just this very classy black and white checkered. But then when you look on the inside, it is completely reinforced by a completely different material and a completely different pattern. Now, I did find out that these were a little bit rare because they technically had to make 2 different style baskets because they needed to make the lid and then they needed to make the inner slit for the actual bucket. But you can see here on the bottom that they use different types of materials and several different types of woven styles to get this basket to be made. Hence why they were able to set it on top of their head and use it to carry long distances without it hurting their neck, shoulders, or back. But they were also able to hold some very heavy weight without it falling off of their head and being able to stand within this bucket without the bucket breaking, ripping, sliding off, etc. But, like Jason said, to wrap it up,
well, no, we still have 15 minutes.
Okay, sick. Well, I have a couple cool things to talk about.
I want to show too.
Okay, yes. I want to talk about Mandinka, and then we'll move on to that.
Yeah, and then...
What's that say?
That's Steve.
Oh, is it?
That's what I just read.
Oh, okay.
So, just said, did you know that... Where'd it go? Okay. Did you know Mary Kenner? Mary Kenner invented something that women use all the time.
Oh, yes.
And it was never... And she was not able to patent it or to take any money from it until after the 1950s when she finally got to patent it. But it was created by a black woman. And what is it?
It is the menstrual products.
Yes.
And that is so
It started out as a belt.
Which, okay, I wish I honestly still had, if we had the magazine, I would show it to you guys, but it literally was an advertisement for a spandex or stretchy material belt with like a piece of the same material going upward, and you would essentially take your pad and you would have to tie it to it. securely, and then put that on, and then put your undies on, and then put your pants on, or your skirt, or your dress, or wherever you're going to wear underneath that. But there was literally nothing holding it to your body besides gravity and the spandex belt that you had attached to your waist. And then obviously time got better, and we figured out what glue was, and now you can stick it to your clothes.
All right, so you want to talk about this real quick?
Yes, only because it's very rare.
And we did mention this during our board game show.
We did, and I knew nothing about it at the time, which was very shameful, but now I know all about the game Mandinka. Okay, so I found out that Mandinka is actually an ethnic group, and this variety of people can span anywhere between West Africa, Southern Mali, Gambia, Eastern Guinea, and there's about 11 million Mandinka people in the world, and they are spread out all along those continents and countries. And this game in particular is the only game that's named Mandinka, and it was made in 1978 by Milton Bradley. And it either, if you see this, it also goes by another name called Mancola, and it is 2 players, and it's been around for over 2,000 years, and it originated in Africa, but they didn't really have too much on how to play the game or really what the whole point is. But on the back here, it does say it's a strategy game that can be traced back for thousands of years to Africa. Originally, the game was played with seeds in holes dug right into the earth. And as the game made its way across to Africa, Asia, game boards were styled into a traditional folk art of tribes that played it. It consists of 48 colorful stones. It involves sewing stones into dishes of the game board and capturing your opponent's stones. Strategy gets more intense as the game progresses and the stones are piled high. Master the strategies and enjoy the game.
And when you're done with the game, you can use the board as a charcuterie board.
Literally.
You could use it as a charcuterie board.
And it's like wood.
It's nice.
It's like very pretty. It's got its original stamp
Look, it
on
says
the bottom.
Made in the USA right there.
Oh, wow, literally. And this says
Probably the company it was made
Milton
from.
Bradley.
Milton
Wow.
Bradley. So, and, you know, one of the did you knows that I didn't get into that deeply online was a lot of nuts and a lot of beads, stuff like that were used as currency in
100%.
Africa. Yeah.
And if you look at that, I noticed there's some type of nut and glass beads that's what's used as your opponent's.
So, one of the things we like to talk about or mention is the Emancipation Proclamation.
Of course.
And I would be interested to know, those who are watching know what the Emancipation Proclamation is. So I'm holding up 2 very important newspapers. And these are originals. And I know I've shown these before. Which one do I have? Which one do you have? Okay, so this would be first.
I'll show Instagram this one while you show Facebook that, and then we'll
Okay,
swap.
so but this is in order, chronologically order. I'm losing my words.
Chronological.
Yep. This one would be first. That one would be second. There'd be one in between. Okay. So what this is? These are these original newspapers from when. This one was when the slaves were told they were free in that area.
Woohoo!
In that area that they had been freed.
New York, April 2022.
Because it didn't reach across the country for decades.
Oh, yeah.
It took forever to reach across the country. So if you look closely, you see the depiction of everybody laughing and jumping. And, you know, even though they were on paper free, they weren't really free. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
They still had to work at the farms and do all that type of stuff. They just could come and go when they wanted and got paid. Mm-hmm. So once this happened, and you see Lincoln here is telling them that they're free.
Right.
And everything. Then fast forward ahead to Lincoln getting shot and killed, right, in the movie theater. And then John Wilkes Booth, who actually did the shooting, in this one is being dragged out. He's being caught and dragged out.
And on the bottom here it says the killing of Booth, the assassin, the dying murderer drawn from the barn where he had taken refuge on Garnett's farm near Port Royal, Vermont, April 26, 1865, from a sketch of an eyewitness.
Of an eyewitness.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? These are actual papers from that time period. They only published it once a month, sometimes twice a month,
and this
or
is
sometimes once a quarter.
Sergeant Boston Corbett, the man who shot Booth, from a photograph by Brandy.
So this is the person who killed Booth for killing Lincoln.
Yeah.
And he shot Lincoln because Lincoln freed the slaves.
Yeah.
And so therefore, he shot him.
Got him.
And this is them dragging him
out. They said, you gotta go.
Newspaper. So even though these are hand-drawn, they're still graphic.
Oh, 100%. That's amazing.
There's a lot of other... Oh, I just saw the back of it.
That's hilarious. You should show that.
I love it when I look at the back. And it's somebody scooping up little people
with a net.
A net. Oh, my God. Sheridan's last haul. Lee Grant says, Phil... it's a political depiction, I guess. Army watches were $7.
Wow.
So it's a really cool newspaper, and one of these days maybe we'll flip through it online.
Yeah.
Because some of these are astounding. I mean, the story is, this one is May 13th, 1865. You can see the date right there. Right there.
This is literally
see the date
insane.
Right there. 1865.
These were 10 cents each or $4 yearly, or for 3 weeks it was $1.
Yeah.
And the top topic of this newspaper for this one is the death blow of the rebellion. Now let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the corner without.
I know.
The Canaan to the heavens and the heaven to earth. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So this is a great historical tool that you could easily, you pick these up and you could easily, if you're school teachers, if you're...
Literally anybody who just wants to either educate yourself or somebody around you, or even if you're a person that's like me and likes to remember these things, honestly, these are amazing. Like,
so those of you who collect cabinet cards, stereoscopic view, stuff like that, right here is an ad for stereoscopic views of the war, and it tells you here Bull Run, Yorktown, Fair Oak, so it's all the famous places of the war.
Wow.
And it's the ad for the stereo. I mean, this thing has some awesome, historical things in it that are just crazy.
Oh, is yours different from mine? Can I see that?
It's two different ones.
No, flip yours around again. Yeah, they're different.
Oh, they're different.
This
they
one
would
says,
have different sites.
Photograph history of the
Thomas.
Great Union Contest.
Yeah. So there's different things. It's two different ones. I wish I had the two, or the ones that were in the center. But, it's old when a piano costs $25.
No, literally.
But these are really cool, you guys.
Free to everybody.
I mean, the history, 1864. Oh, my goodness. This 1864. This is almost 150 years old.
Yeah, old, yeah.
170 years old. It's so crazy. So, great tools, great image of a rocking chair.
And before the month is over, tell your friend you love them. Because after looking at these, we should be proud of ourselves.
And always remember, regardless of the month and the page, we all bleed the same color. We're all the same.
100%, man.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you came from.
I always love talking about, like, historical things that we still have tangible items with. Like
we need to get you down to the Underground Railroad so you can see.
I know I'm a horrible black person because I've never been to the Underground Railroad.
Are you kidding? There's probably 500 things about, my ancestry that I've never been to,
My ancestors are like, come on now.
Oh, come on. I lived in San Francisco for I don't know how many years of my life, and every time somebody would go to Alcatraz, I'd say, oh, I can't today. I'll get there. I live here. And
then you never went.
I've never been there. I live in California. I live here now.
It was like the inevitable for sure.
So get down there. Read about our Underground Railroad. There is a huge statue in Hart Plaza that will tell you everything about it. And then there are places all over the place that can tell you about it as well, because we have a huge black history here in Metro Detroit area, and we need to embrace it.
150%, man. We are Motown, baby.
And we need to embrace them all.
Yeah, agreed.
Everything.
And on that note, I can't wait to see you guys at the Autorama.
Oh, guess what? So tomorrow we'll be announcing the guest host. You will see us, me and Steve, on the opening of the show. And then we will announce, not tomorrow, You'll see me and Steve at the opening of the Autorama show. We'll both be sitting there in front of the camera. Steve is not a huge one that loves the camera, so we brought in a guest host. You all know who she is, but we will announce her tomorrow. And if you get a chance, jump on, watch Caffeinated Conversations, because it's one of my pet projects, as well as that I enjoy doing. Not my pet project, but I'm a part of that. And you got to watch it because it's cool. There's some cool guests, and I hear we have a Lions on, one of the former Lions player on,
ooh,
which is pretty cool. So you have to jump over and see
new.
it for this Monday coming up. But anyways, we have got an enormous, fabulous show coming up at Autorama,
and you better be there.
We
be
got
square.
some great guests, and it's kind of a twofer because we're going to have other shows filmed there too.
A twofer.
So,
LOL.
It'll be exciting. And what else? Do we have anything else? Did we miss something?
Nope, but this will be up online on Facebook as soon as we end the show, and then this will be up on
And
YouTube
Instagram.
tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Instagram is also going to be up immediately after we end. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this segment of Time Warp Live, because obviously you guys know I did. And we have one more Tuesday left until Autorama, or 2 more Tuesdays left?
One, I think.
So we have one more Time Warp Live left until
What is today?
we catch you guys
The
at a
20th?
different
Yeah.
location.
But of course, that is on a Saturday evening that we will be going live, and then you will see us again the following Tuesday for Time Warp Tuesday.
Heck yeah, Time Warp
Time
Live.
Warp Live on Tuesday. I changed the name and then can't even get it right.
But
Craziness.
again, we always ask if you guys has any other topics that you would love to hear us talk about. Make sure you let us know in the comments or DM, and maybe we'll talk about it.
And remember, Black Americana is part of history, so enjoy looking at it and understand its past.
Because it enjoys looking at you. Bye, guys.